生きてる。よう生きてるかい。
What's up, gang? It's X. So Amon Garam is one of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's most complex characters. Garam could have easily had his own series in which he was the main character, which is how much depth and writing really went into the side characters in GX. I wanted to take a moment to just appreciate that mere fact. I would give GX a 10 out of 10 in terms of writing. I mean, these characters are complex, they have depth, and there's so much nuance to them. Through making these videos, I've really had a chance to reflect on so many amazing characters, and it's been a wonderful experience. Going back to Garam though, as a character, he appears mysterious, secretive, intelligent, reserved, cold, and a bit more mature than any of the other cast of GX, even amongst the new Season 3 transfers, which is saying quite a lot. Hailing from the East Academy as the #1 student, Garam takes a much different approach to dueling. He views duels as a means of survival and control, a means to an end. This is a complete opposite outlook on dueling compared to the main character, Judai, who sees dueling as an outlet to have fun. Judai's focus is not on the outcome, it's to enjoy himself. It is for an appreciation and the virtue of dueling in it of itself. While for Garam, much like the opposite side of a coin with a complete different viewpoint, sees the outcome as everything, and he sees dueling as an instrument in his will to power. Garam's viewpoint towards others is cruel, to say the least, as he does not see others as people, but considers them as tools that can be disposed of if they interfere with his path, or if they can help bolster him. To understand how Garam reached these viewpoints is very important, as his backstory was traumatic. Amon was abandoned by his parents when he was young. He was left to be an orphan starving to death in the desert. Amon reflects on this brutal reality he had to face as a kid when dueling Manjome. To quote Amon, "Humans who have truly plummeted to the depths, abandoned by their parents, abandoned by society, those who are destined to die shortly after birth, all they can do is stare at the sky, waiting for death. That day, all I could do was sit on a hill and wait for the moment of my death." From this, we can see how cruel the world was to Amon, as he was left to die as a kid. That is, until the Garam family head drove by, and by Amon's luck, adopted him. However, Garam's experience as a kid of being abandoned and left to die has stuck with him, leading to his strong desire to rid the world of all evil, even if that means making unethical sacrifices in order to do so. The saddest part about Garam being saved was that he was not put into an environment where people cared for him. Instead, he was simply groomed to be the next heir of the Garam family. His family viewed him as a mere means to an end, not a person, but a vessel for their need to have an heir. From this kind of terrible raising, it is clear to see why Garam developed the outlook that he did, of ends justifying means and not believing in bonds with others, as well as power being the most important thing in life. I say this because the Garam family finally had a son named Shadow, and after this, Amon immediately loses the heirship status he once had, and any attention he was getting from his family. This proves the earlier point I was making, that his family's view of him was very toxic and not respectful towards Amon's personhood. Instead, they were seeing him as a tool to further their goals. On the bright side, Amon was given a friend to keep him company, Echo, and she prevents Amon from attempting to kill Shadow. As Amon grew bitter with rage and resentment toward Shadow for stealing his place in the family. After this, though, Amon dedicates his life to protecting his younger brother. Resentment toward Shadow shifted to devotion. If he can protect his younger brother, then that means he still has value and worth as a person. He was fulfilling a role. Yet, the resentment hadn't completely gone away. There was still an underlying hatred in this dynamic. As he wasn't looking after his brother Shadow from a place of love or family, it is only out of Amon being able to find some kind of purpose. Without a friend like Echo anchoring Amon with her kindness and compassion, Amon would have fallen into his hatred and may have killed his own brother out of his envy. The reason why Amon has such a strong attachment to power is that he believes it is the only thing that can never betray him. Having been scarred by his own family's betrayal and seeing how he was left doomed to death in that desert, led Amon to have this nihilistic viewpoint that attachments and relationships with others were meaningless, and that the ultimate purpose in life was to have a lot of power. My power will never betray me, even if people do. That's Amon's mindset. Pretty elementary, am I right, guys? Additionally, Garam has these viewpoints because of his goal to obtain the spirit of Exodia, the Forbidden One, in the third alternate dimension. Amon wants to rule this world because by becoming king of it, darkness and evil will vanish, as Amon will be all-powerful and can create a world where evil no longer exists. This is in direct correspondence with Amon's viewpoint that power is truth, and what is needed to truly make an impact upon the world is power, and to get rid of evil, you need power. The irony of Amon is that his obsession with control and order directly led him to lose himself in that very darkness he was attempting to destroy. Sounds kind of like Anakin Skywalker. But Amon lost compassion for others and became twisted in his pursuit of power. While he didn't have a lot of compassion to begin with, he still had some general care for his friend Echo. Now let's talk about Echo. Echo is the one person who loves Amon. She is deeply devoted to him. She supports him no matter what, believing in his ideals and that he is destined to be the king of the new world. Unfortunately, this love is one-sided. Amon does not love Echo. He views her simply as a tool to be used, in a utilitarian sense. He does not consider her as a lover, whereas Echo views Amon as her everything. To unlock Exodia's full power, Amon realizes that he needs a human and a soul, and he decides on Echo as the perfect victim and target for this sacrifice. Amon views Echo's feelings for him as a way to benefit his own desires to fully power Exodia through her sacrifice. Amon's philosophy is that of utilitarianism. He does not mind sacrificing the one person. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. I kind of lost my place. Give me a sec. There we go. So he does not mind sacrificing the only person who loves him in Echo, as he believes that her life being lost is worth it because he'll then be able to save countless of other people and lives and rid the world of all evil and all bad. Now, quick note here. I think this is a complete cop-out. It's obviously a fantasy, for one. Number two, if you actually want to make the world a better place, you shouldn't be so arrogant to think that you can just rid the world of all evil, all bad, all darkness. Amon clearly has a god complex. And to improve the world, you might want to actually treat Echo as a friend, or just view, like you're trying to achieve something that a god could not achieve. Well, you can't even do the basics of treating your fellow man with respect. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I'll get into that later. To Amon, the ends really justify the means. It doesn't matter if I sacrifice her because I'm going to make the world a better place. Attachments don't matter. What's important is power and control. It is so tragic too, because like a cult member just blindly following, she just in the wrong direction. She just willingly agrees to be sacrificed, Is she kind of freaking dumb for just letting herself be sacrificed? Yes. But at the same time, it's just like, it's just so fucked, dude. This is really dark. Like, you want to talk about this being a kid show? People are getting sacrificed for power. Like, dog, this is the third, fourth season are like signing level. So Amon, he really believes that he is doing something transcendental. There we go. Tough to talk with these Invisaligns on sometimes. Jesus. But, like, what? He's so far gone. He's so delusional that he thinks that he's doing something transcendent. But, guys, in reality, it's just he is betraying the only person in his life who truly loved and cared for him. Bro really fumbled a baddie for the ultimate strength. Well, actually, no, he didn't fumble. He just killed her, bro. It's an incredibly dark scene, and one that painfully reminds me of the eclipse from Berserk and Griffith's evil sacrifice to obtain power. Obviously, that one is different. Everybody was fighting against the sacrifice. Echo was kind of like she was so blinded by her love that she just was like, yeah, you're going to rule the world. I'll die, whatever, She drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah, come on, Echo. But I believe one should never treat a person as an end to a means. And Echo's dignity and autonomy as a person were completely violated. Even though that she complied. It's just sad because Amon clearly took advantage of her love for him, knowing that she would go through to fulfill his selfish desire. I don't care who you are, bro. I don't care how fucking sad it is. Just because you have a tragic backstory gives you no right to treat others this way. Look at a guy like Aster Phoenix, man. He lost his father when he was a child, was basically adopted by a villain, yet he still believes in bonds with others, trust, and sacrificing for others. Not sacrificing other people for your own fucked up power fantasy. To be honest, when Amon got his ass handed to him by Yubel, I was just like, Dude, you reap what you sow, motherfucker. Hear me out. You want to get rid of darkness in the world. So you kill the one person who loves you as your first step? Yeah, it just sounds like some arrogant fuck's delusion to me, man. I know he was raised poorly and faced the harsh cruelty of life at a young age, being left out to die. But he could have chosen a different path than this one. You know that one meme where it has people saying, I had every right to be a villain, and it's like Griffith, Obito, etc. Then it cuts to, did you really? And has characters like Guts and Kuma, who have suffered an insane amount, but have still remained good. Point being, you can go through the worst possible suffering, but it is always your choice on how you want to respond. Stoicism. Fun fact about Amon, he referenced Descartes when he said cogito ergo sum in the anime, which means I think, therefore I am. Basically just a way that proves that you exist. So, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is just awesome. Shout out to Junki Takagami and Yasuyuki Suzuki when writing Amon. I mean, I cannot lie, dude. Like, what a complex character and really thought-provoking video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm obviously condemning Amon, but I think the story is like, wow, it is a good story. It's got a lot of depth. So, yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.